All right, let's dive into a name that is absolutely essential to the U.S. housing market, but, one that most people don't really understand. Ginnie Mae. It's kind of like the secret ingredient in the recipe for American homeownership, especially for some really important groups of people. And trust me, by the end of this, you're going to know exactly what it does and why it's such a big deal.
So let's kick things off with a question. You've got veterans, families living out in the country, first-time homebuyers. For a lot of them, getting a mortgage can feel like a huge hurdle. So what's the invisible force working in the background that makes sure banks actually have the cash to lend to them? Well, you probably guessed it. The answer is Ginnie Mae.
To really get what Ginnie Mae is all about, you have to focus on its number one most important job, providing a rock-solid, ironclad guarantee. Seriously, this one idea is the foundation for everything else it does.
And you know what? The easiest way to wrap your head around Ginnie Mae's entire purpose is this little phrase right here. Ginnie guarantees government loans. That's it. GGG. It's less of a name and more of a mission statement, and it's the key to understanding this whole thing. Okay, so for the official record, Ginnie Mae stands for the Government National Mortgage Association, or GNMA. It's a corporation that's actually owned by the government, and it sits inside the Department of Housing and Urban Development, which you probably know as HUD. Its whole mission is to make buying a home easier, and it does that in a very specific way by guaranteeing mortgage securities.
So let's break down that GGGL idea a little more. Ginnie Mae guarantees these financial things called mortgage-backed securities. Just think of them as big bundles of home loans that get sold to investors. But here's the catch. These bundles are only backed by specific government-insured loans. And this brings us to the most crucial point of all. Ginnie Mae does not buy or sell the loans. It's not a bank. It's not a lender. It is purely 100% a guarantor.
So if Ginnie Mae is just a guarantor, how does that actually work in the real world? Well, it's a pretty neat three-step process. You can just think of it as pool, guarantee, and pay.
This little three-step dance is how Ginnie Mae injects liquidity, basically available cash, into the housing market. That's what makes it easier for lenders to keep handing out new loans. So let's walk through exactly how this system works.
Think of it like a little financial assembly line. First, lenders take a bunch of similar government-insured loans and throw them all together into a pool. Next, Ginnie Mae steps in and slaps its powerful government guarantee on a security that's backed by that pool. And finally, investors can buy these super safe investments because they know Ginnie Mae guarantees they will get their payments on time every time, even if some of the original homeowners fall behind.
You know, a great way to picture this is as a financial water slide. All the different loans get pooled together at the very top. Ginnie Mae is the slide itself. It's the safe, predictable structure that makes the whole thing work. And this lets investors at the bottom get a nice, smooth, continuous flow of payments. It's a brilliant system for turning thousands of separate loans into one single, ultra-reliable investment.
Okay, so we've been throwing around this term government-insured loans a lot. But what are they really? Which loans actually get this special Ginnie Mae treatment? Well, that's exactly what we're about to cover.
So which specific government loans are we talking about here? It really comes down to three main types, and each one is designed to help a very specific group of people get into a home.
The loans Ginnie Mae touches are FHA loans, which come from the Federal Housing Administration and often help out first-time buyers. Then you have VA loans from the Department of Veterans Affairs for our service members and veterans. And finally, there are USDA loans, which help families buy homes in rural parts of the country. The key takeaway here? Ginnie Mae never backs conventional loans, only these specific government programs. That's a hard and fast rule.
All right, now for the main event. If you've paid any attention to home loans, you've definitely heard of two other giants, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So let's clear up what is easily the biggest point of confusion and put them all head-to-head. If you remember absolutely nothing else from this, remember this one simple phrase, because it perfectly separates their roles. Just think of it like this. Ginnie guarantees while Fannie and Freddie finance. That is the cleanest way to tell them apart. And looking at them side by side makes it crystal clear. Ginnie Mae's primary role, to guarantee securities. Fannie and Freddie's main job, to buy and sell the actual loans, which provides financing. Ginnie Mae only deals with those government loans, FHA, VA, USDA. Fannie and Freddie, they focus mostly on conventional loans. And finally, Ginnie Mae is literally part of the U.S. government, inside HUD. Fannie and Freddie are what's called government-sponsored, which means they're separate companies. See? It all comes back to that one core idea. Ginnie guarantees, Fannie and Freddie finance. So let's bring it all home. Let's wrap this up and really talk about the incredible power of the Ginnie Mae guarantee.
Okay, let's try to put everything we've talked about into one single sentence. Ready? Ginnie Mae guarantees securities backed by government loans, that's FHA, VA, and USDA, which are pooled together, and this whole system makes sure that investors get paid on time. Boom. That one sentence pretty much covers it all.
So why does any of this matter? Well, here's the kicker. That Ginnie Mae guarantee gives investors all over the world the confidence they need to pour trillions of dollars into the U.S. housing market. That confidence creates liquidity. Think of it like a massive, constantly flowing river of cash that lets lenders keep making those FHA, VA, and USDA loans. Without Ginnie Mae, that river could slow down to a trickle, and fast.
At the end of the day, Ginnie Mae provides the bedrock of trust for a huge piece of our mortgage market. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. What do you think would happen to the dream of homeownership for millions of Americans without this government guarantee making sure that money keeps flowing to lenders? It's an incredibly powerful force, quietly shaping the American dream every single day.